Good morning, our postgraduate students. How are you? All right. So please let's get to the second lecture in the course Marine Ecology, MSM 831. And in this lecture, we want to talk about the division of the marine environment. Division of the marine environment. Now, marine environment in this context, we are going to be specific. Of course, we know that a lagoon and estuary could be called a marine environment. Good. But in this context of what we are going to study now, we're going to discuss now, we mean the real ocean. We mean the real sea. All right. So we're going to see how it's being divided. Now, why I say we mean the real sea is because, for example, in the lagoon, uh, you don't have the neritic, you don't have the oceanic, and these are the basic classification we are going to do, the basic divisions we are going to discuss. So we are going to discuss the real ocean, the main ocean. Okay. Division of the marine environment. The marine environment is a very big ecosystem. Very big ecosystem. The ocean is a very big ecosystem. Large ecosystem. So it's important that you try to put it into zones, put it into divisions. Okay. So we want to start by discussing the division horizontally. Horizontally. Every water body, whether it's a river or a sea or a lagoon or an ocean, is a basin. That's why you hear of ocean basin. You hear of river basin. Why? Because it's a concave environment. It has a concave structure. It has a concave structure like a basin. Not the basin here, the basin you know, like a basin. Now, if you are to get a horizontal division, so in every basin, for example, you get your basin, a big basin, and you fill it with water. Just assume that that basin of water is an ocean. Now, you can decide to demarcate it horizontally or you demarcate it vertically. Now, in every ocean, you can have the horizontal division. The horizontal division of that body of water is divided into two. You have the neritic zone and you have the oceanic zone. You have the neritic and you have the oceanic. The neritic zone, which is also called the continental water, which is also called the territorial water, is that part of the water body that is closest to land or closer to the continent or nation bordering that water body. They call it the neritic. Now, by the time you move further away to about 200 nautical miles off the coast, you are now moving into the oceanic. All right, so we have the neritic. We can call it coastal water. We can call it territorial water. And then we have the oceanic. Now, based on the fact that these water bodies are in form of a basin. You can also see, even from what the sketch or the drawing before us now, that the Neritic is bound to be shallow, at least relatively or comparatively shallower than the oceanic. All right. Now, we can also divide vertically. Now, if you get to the center of the oceanic and you get a vertical line, or you get to the center of that your basin of water and you get to the vertical line, you have zones or layers or divisions. The first one is called the epipelagic. Now we are going to be hearing this word repeatedly. Pelagic. What does pelagic mean? Pelagic means water mass. Not water body, the water mass, the water column. So we have the epipelagic, which is the one that is on the surface. Epi means on the periphery, on the surface. You have the epipelagic. Epipelagic has a depth of about 200 meters from the surface. Epipelagic. Okay. Now let's discuss a little about this epipelagic. What are the likely features of this epipelagic? Number one, they are going to be well lighted. So it's called the photic zone or the euphotic zone. U means true. Euphotic means true light, real light. It means that it is well lighted. It has, enough light. Enough light for photosynthesis. Enough light for also vision. So that is the epipelagic. The first point, the most surface part of it, from the surface layer or from the surface of the water to about 200 meter depth. After that, between that 200 meter depth to about 1000 meter depth is the mesopelagic. The mesopelagic. The mesopelagic is also has some level of light, but that light is just enough for vision. It's not enough for photosynthesis. So we say it's dysphotic or dysphotic. It has dim light. You can actually see with it, but the primary producers, the phytoplankton or the autotrophs, cannot photosynthesize. There is not enough light to embark on the process of photosynthesis at the mesopelagic zone. Remember, that zone is between 200 meter to 1000 meter depth. After that is the bathypelagic. The bathypelagic is between 1000 meter to about 4000 meter depth. This place is aphotic. Aphotic, meaning that there is no light. There is no light for vision, there is no light for photosynthesis. This place is a dark zone. After that, you also have the abysopelagic. Abysopelagic between 4000 meter to about 6000 meter or thereabout. But sometimes you can have a trench, okay? You can have a depression, even at the seafloor. In that case, you have the header pelagic. The header pelagic. That place also is very, very dark. And it can get up to the depth of 1000 meter. The depth of 11,000 meter, as we can see in the Mariana Trench. So vertically, you have the epipelagic, which is euphotic, which has enough light for both vision and photosynthesis. Then you have the mesopelagic, which has some light, some level of light that's photic. Level of light for vision, but not enough for photosynthesis. Then you have the bathypelagic, the abysopelagic, and the hadapelagic. This area is dark and they are aphotic. Now, remember, we have this pelagic being repeated, meaning that these are divisions on the water column. But you can also have divisions based on the bottom. All right. And then you have the first one, the intertidal zone. The intertidal zone is also called the littoral zone. Which zone is this? Intertidal. Now, intertidal means between the tidal, the extreme tidal marks. Okay, between the extreme tidal marks, between the highest tidal mark and the lowest tidal mark. That place is called the intertidal zone. It means that at the highest of tides, that place is submerged, but at the lowest of tide, that place is exposed. This intertidal zone is also called the littoral zone. Then after that, you have the sublittoral zone. The sublittoral zone is always submerged. It's always submerged. It's always submerged. And it starts from the point of the lowest tidal mark to the end of the continental shelf. After that, you now have the bathypelagic zone. The bathypelagic zone. The bathypelagic zone corresponds with the bathybentic zone. The bathybentic zone corresponds with the bathypelagic zone. Then you have the abysobentic zone, and of course you have the hadal-bentic zone. So these are the divisions of the ocean, vertically and horizontally. Horizontally, you have the Neretic and Oceanic. Vertically, you have the epipelagic, hesopelagic, bathypelagic, abysopelagic, and hadapelagic. Remember, the vertically can also be in the water column, that's the pelagic, or at the bottom level, that is the bentic area. Okay. Now, in the bentic area, you have the intertidal, which is also called the littoral. You have the sublittoral, you have the bathyal, the abyssal, and the hadal-bentic. This has to do with the contact with the bottom. All right. So these are the basic divisions of the marine environment. Thank you so much, and I hope you go through, get some more information, and then get some questions which you can actually throw on the platform, and you will get responses as appropriate. Thank you so much.